Hey guys, what's up? Danny here, and today I'm actually going to be talking about the link between depression and creativity. So, the notion that depression and other forms of mental illness go hand in hand with creativity is so prevalent that it gave rise to the terms tortured artist and mad artist. But is this idea just a stereotype, or does it actually contain a grain of truth? Painters such as Vincent van Gogh, who famously cut off his ear and ultimately took his life in 1890, contribute to this idea, as does the writer Sylvia Plath, who died by suicide in 1963. Both artists detailed their mental illness in writing. Popular artists and mental illness. Uh, let's see. Van Gogh sent an 1888 letter to his brother Theo explaining, "I am unable to describe exactly what is the matter with me. Now and then there are horrible fits of anxiety, apparently without cause, or otherwise a feeling of emptiness and fatigue in the head. At times I have attacks of melancholy and an atrocious remorse." Plath also wrote about her mental illness, referring to herself as neurotic, depressed, and suicidal in her 1963 semi-autobiographical novel The Bell Jar. In the book she wrote, "I didn't know why I was going to cry, but I knew that if anybody spoke to me or looked at me too closely, the tears would fly out of my eyes and the sobs would fly out of the throat that I've cried for a week." Plath and Van Gogh were just two of the very long list of suffering artists. So, mood disorders and artistic ability. In 2017, the perspective of Psychological Science Journal published a study called Creativity and Mood Disorder. The study explored whether mood disorders cause creativity, creativity causes mood disorders, or an unknown variable causes creativity and mood disorders. Research author Krista L. Taylor of the State University of New York at Albany found that bipolar disorder, which is characterized by periods of mania and depression, was most often associated with creativity. In contrast, creativity was not associated with persistent depressive disorder, also known as dysthymia or low-grade depression. Symptoms of PDD are less severe than they are in major depressive disorder, but typically last longer, up to 5 years on average. Yet people with MDD tend to be more creative than those with mild depression. Creativity and mood disorders, similar symptoms. A number of symptoms of hypomanic episodes are also characteristic of intense creative ability. Ideational fluency and reduced need for food and sleep, and may resemble characteristics of flow, intense and focused concentration, distorted sense of time, which frequently occurs in individuals engaged in creative projects. Studies using diagnostic criteria to diagnose mood disorder in creative individuals may be confounding mood disorder symptoms with the experience of creativity itself. In the end, Taylor's review raised more questions than it answered. She suggested that her investigation is a guide for future research rather than a conclusive study. That's because asking if creativity is related to mood disorder is too general to yield constructive answers and may lead to faulty or overgeneralized conclusions, she explained. And previous studies did not pose more specific questions, which generate a vague maybe rather than a definitive yes to that inquiry. That said, a large study conducted before Taylor's review also indicated that a link exists between psychiatric disorders and creativity. So, on the other hand, creativity can be a positive outlet for people in mental distress, with art therapy increasingly prescribed for victims of trauma. Research has found that writing about painful past events may even temporarily boost one's immune system. Since creativity can be healing, people with mood disorders may instinctively turn to art to help themselves cope or heal. In addition, Taylor posits that the nature of creativity leads artists to behave in ways that read as disordered. Bipolar disorder, schizotypical traits in creativity. A 2012 report called Mental Illness, Suicide, and Creativity examined 40 years of research of approximately 1.2 million Swedish people and determined that creatives had a slightly higher rate of bipolar disorder diagnosis than the general population. The incidence of bipolar disorder in this small group, however, people with disorder were just 8% more likely to enter the arts. The researchers determined the writers were 121% more likely to suffer from the condition and about 50% more likely to take their own lives than the public overall. So basically, guys, right, like the freaking having a mental illness or having bipolar disorder and stuff, it really does actually you know allow for people to be more creative and people to think differently than others, right? So you see here it says 25% of the U.S. population suffers from mental illness. So basically, what happens in bipolar disorder is that, right, there are normal people that are in a normal realm of thinking, right? So those people in the normal realm of thinking, right, they don't have, they only have a balance of moods, and that goes on for their entire lives, right? They have a balance of their moods, right? So they are within a certain range of you know, being, they are within a certain range, right? So bipolar disorder, you're around that range. So you take a look at Kanye, right? Let's take a look at Kanye real quick, right? He is bipolar, right? So he is experiencing two emotions that are on two opposite ends of the spectrum, right? You have the normal range, and then you have the range surrounding it, right? So when you have those type of emotions that can be extremely high or extremely low, right, that basically allows people for more creativity, that basically allows people to be more creative, right? So basically, since you are never in that in between phase, right, you know, you are thinking much differently than the general population, right? You are thinking about new ideas and stuff, right? How do people come out with these new ideas and stuff, right? They have uh just different gateways in their mind and stuff, right? And I feel like bipolar disorder, it could definitely contribute to a better to like a better like, you know, kind of aura around you and stuff, right? So let's take a look at Kanye take stopped taking medication. So Kanye West claims he refuses to take medication because he was misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder. Ye claims he was mentally misdiagnosed and forcibly drugged to be turned into a manageable celebrity. He made the claim in a tweet which contained a screenshot of a text with his former personal trainer. So so basically, when he was taking his meds, he wasn't able to focus on his albums as well as he does now, right? So, yeah, so he was talking on Jimmy Kimmel about being bipolar and stuff. And then he met with Donald Trump talking about how he was misdiagnosed. I was connected with a neuropsychologist that worked with the athletes in the NBA and the NFL, and he looked at my brain. Ye told him, he said that I actually wasn't bipolar. I had sleep deprivation. In December 2018, Ye openly admitted that he had been off the medication for 6 months, and told the New York Times in June that he was learning how to not be on meds. I'm loving the new music I've been working on. 6 months off meds, I can feel me again. Remember when Dark Fantasy came out, I used to tweet a storm also. Months later, in May 2019, Ye appears in the David Letterman's Netflix special, My Next Guest Needs No Introduction, and spoke once again about his struggles with bipolar disorder. When you're in this state, you're hyper paranoid about everything. Everyone is now an actor. Everything's a conspiracy, he told Letterman. You pretty much don't trust anybody. This idea aligns with a lot of behavior over the years, and recently with the fake children in his home, the false Jews control the media narrative. His back and forth between taking the medication to subdue his symptoms and not taking the medication in order to be creative are harmful to not only himself but people all around the country, as his anti-Semitic rants have created an unsafe environment for Jewish people. So he supports Trump, but then he's Semitic, he's anti-Semitic. I don't even know what's going on, but honestly though, Kanye did mention before in the past that he because he stopped taking his medication, that it really contributed to him being more creative in the future and stuff, right? So I feel like, that's the thing. Like, if you take drugs or you take medication, then that could really be numbing your brain and stuff, right? Because medications, they have even Xannies and stuff. You take that shit for pain medication, but it does cause brain damage. And even you take Adderall, right? It helps you focus, right? But that's the thing. Like, all good things come to an end, and you have to always remember that, right? You take Adderall, long-term consequences. Okay, right. So, used for a long time, Adderall leads to some serious side effects. These include addiction, heart problems, mental health problems, and slowed growth rate in children. People also wonder if Adderall cause less studied side effects like sexual side effects and dementia. Uh, so here we have the adverse effects of Adderall, right? So if you do take Adderall and it actually does help you, please take it in moderation. So, obviously we have, good effects, like increased physical energy, improved mental aptitude, hyperexcitability, and mood elevation, right? So, however, Adderall can lead to a variety of dose-dependent effects. Some of the more common adverse effects include restlessness, difficulty falling asleep, headaches, dizziness, visual changes, alteration in sexual performance or desire, constipation, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, hallucinations, paranoia, exacerbation of existing mental illnesses. So, some people may experience excessive body temperature, heart attack, stroke. So basically, long-term effects of Adderall: damage to nerve cells, seizures, psychosis, stroke, abnormal heart rhythms. So basically, what happens when you take too much of a drug? Obviously, what happens is that you could do serious brain injury, damage to the liver, heart attack, stroke, and an overdose is dry mouth, chest pain, racing heart, all of this other stuff. So basically, guys, that's the thing, right? You put your body on these downers and these, because Adderall is a stimulant, right? It's basically kind of like meth, right? Caffeine is caffeine in and of itself. Caffeine can actually have a lot of healthy side effects and benefits for your body and stuff, right? But what Adderall is literally, they give kids Adderall. They give all these people like Adderall and stuff, right? And it's horrible. Adderall is horrible compared to a lot of other drugs and stuff, right? So that's the thing about like mental disorders that people really need to realize and stuff is that you sometimes got to just fight it out on your own and stuff. You are the only person that got yourself. So if you are a very strong person at the end of the day, you wouldn't need any medication for your for whatever you have mentally and stuff, right? Because sometimes I go to sleep extremely depressed and then I wake up extremely happy, right? And I know, like I know that shit, like in the future and shit. Like I don't need to take no medications and shit for nothing, yo. Dead ass. So, that's the thing, guys. Don't numb your brain. Just deal with the pain. Turn that pain into passion. Work your ass off. It doesn't fucking matter. Just realize that in your brain and stuff, that your power, you could be so much more powerful than you actually are. And people are too scared. People are fucking pussy. People are too scared to actually go out and fucking do shit, right? So, Adderall is definitely better, I would say, than smoking weed, right? If you want to focus on something and you want to do shit, right? And you want to kind of relieve some stress, right? And you want your dopamine levels to go up, take some Adderall. Don't take weed. Don't take none of that shit. Take some Adderall. It could actually really help you out and stuff. So, there's a lot of alternatives, but altering your brain chemistry forever is just horrible, right? You go on like a steroid binge of a couple of years and then you turn into an extremely depressed person. Rich Piana went on a steroid binge. Look at him. He was extremely happy. He was alpha for a while until, boom, he freaking died and shit, right? Some people consider him a legend for him doing what he did, right? But at the end of the day, I feel like you have to make sure that you live a long life, because you never know when you are going to be successful. Fucking Cher, I don't know what, like, Cher, her name is Cher, right? She is a very famous figure. And when did she blow up? When did her career really take off? When she was in her 60s. Her 60s. Isn't that crazy? She was in her 60s when her career took off. So that's kind of my main point to you guys, and I hope you guys understand that you can never be too old for your career to take off, and you really just have to have that vision, right? And make sure to work as hard as possible when you're young, because that's going to contribute to a better mental health when you're older, right? You keep a process going for a very, very long time, right? Your brain adapts to that process and you get stronger, right? Some people, they get weaker. Okay, those are the weak people, right? You can fucking ignore them and shit. I don't give a fuck about that shit, right? But today, I'm gonna fucking go out, I'm gonna sell some shit, and I'm gonna be fucking productive as shit. Because you have to be fucking successful. And that's it. You know, number one thing that I fear is being successful. And that's it. That's it. Is not being successful. That's my main fear. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys got something out of it. And understand my perspective on everything right now is that, you know, this is just how it is and shit. Mental health is a very serious issue, right? And the number one way to alleviate your symptoms, right? Go out in the environment, fucking be social, socialize with people and shit, right? You're gonna meet a fuck ton of different people, and you know, just find a way to like balance your moods and stuff, and just do that type of shit, right? I'm out and about all the fucking time, right? And you know, that's it. I know people with the extreme disorders, right? The way that they talk, they have problems with the coherency and everything, but they're still very successful people. You know why? Because they have this inner energy where it's telling them, it's like, hey, I gotta continue going out, I gotta continue doing shit, I gotta be successful, and that's it, yo. That's it. So just be out there, go out there, be confident, say, you talk your mind, speak your mind and stuff, right? Because that's it, yo. If you're a Jewish person especially, right, you can already understand how feared you are by so many people, because you have the potential. You were born a straight white male, right? And society, it's not that they even favor straight white males, is that, you know, they despise them and shit, and it's fucking crazy. So that's my video for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great day and peace out.